Stephen Chavura, I'm very grateful you could join me on Battleground once again to try and get to understand a little better the mood of our times, as it were. It's been a very important month in two capacities, I think. One, the voice referendum, and secondly, the Hamas atrocities in southern Israel, what they portend, and the reaction of the intelligentsia around the world, including here in Sydney. But let's start perhaps with that side of things, because it was shocking last week to me to see the knee-jerk support of young university radicals in joining with people who looked like they had more nefarious aims on the steps of Parliament House, on the steps of the Opera House, to stand up and in solidarity with a murderous, brutal group of people who committed gross atrocities in southern Israel. It shocked me. Were you shocked?
Well, in some ways shocked, yes, but not surprised. We saw similar things during 9/11, when the day after 9/11, when news broke out. Certainly in Sydney, I grew up in Bankstown, very, very multicultural area, and there was celebration and dancing in the streets around some of the densely Muslim populated areas in that region of Sydney. You had similar things in America and elsewhere. So going back, and of course, straight away, you had intellectuals basically saying, America had brought this on itself. And so it was really kind of a replay of what we saw 22 years ago with the 9/11 terrorist attack.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for reminding me about that, because I think it always pays to look back at previous markers in history to realise that these are not uniquely bad times. It's always been challenging. But here's the thing, Stephen. I mean, you could compare it in a way with the sort of hero quality that they gave Che Guevara, who was a cold-blooded revolutionary killer who thought that the more brutal you were to the revolution's enemies, the more virtuous you were. You could compare it to the mid-1970s when the intelligentsia were lockstep behind Pol Pot and his murderous regime, cracking open bottles of champagne in the common rooms when the Khmer Rouge marched into Phnom Penh. But here's the thing, there was at least a plausible excuse of ignorance in those cases, possibly not in 9/11, but certainly in the Khmer Rouge example. But today, you've got young activists out there with all the evidence they need in their pocket that an atrocity is being committed, and who committed it, and whose side we should be standing on. And yet their ability to filter out reality is just amazing.